On today's show, please welcome back from ACW Wrestling, Blood, Sweat, Tears Wrestling, and PFW Wrestling. Please welcome Landon Hale.
The doctor is in. I'm ready to make some adjustments. You know what I mean? Adjusting by day and adjusting by night. So you better watch your back. This is the Mike Rand Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mike Rand Show. And today's special guest, we're welcoming back from ACW Wrestling, Blood, Sweat, Tears Wrestling, and PFW Wrestling, Landon Hale. Hey, Landon, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us here again.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's been a little while, so we definitely got a lot to catch up on. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
it's been about 2 years maybe since you've been on the show,
That's
but
what that's what I was thinking too. I didn't know if it was 2 years or if it was last year, but it's definitely been some time. But I'm
yeah,
glad that I get to come back
season
on.
4, and we are now in the sixth season.
Let's go.
We're getting up there. So now what I want to know is what has changed for you since the last time you were on this show?
Oh,
How
I
has
think
your
I
journey
think
changed in wrestling?
Yes, I think just like like a lot of people, but yeah. So it's been it's been a different change of pace. I'm in a different office than I'm usually at. So I moved from Massachusetts and I'm down in North Carolina. I'm working as a chiropractor under Gray Bar Chiropractic. They're an amazing team, and I get to work with so many different staff members. And it's definitely a little bit of a curveball, but nonetheless, they're great people. And, I'm still doing my thing, taking care of people with the adjustments. My wife and I, we just had our first baby, and she is now, I don't know when this is going to be posted, but she's around 3 months old now. So she's our little bundle of joy, Miss Logan Ray. She's amazing. Being a dad is the best feeling in the world. So I'm very blessed. And on the wrestling side of things, I'm still doing wrestling, which is great. I'm not on the road as much because I still want to make time for family and for what I do with them. But no, I've got some cool debuts. I've got some cool returns, and yeah, I'm just excited to stay on this journey, to stay on this path. And so it's definitely hot down here. It's like I think from today, I think it's like 98, and it's supposed to feel like 102. So we got to stay hydrated. So I'm definitely drinking a lot of water during this interview. So, but other than that, it's been really good though.
Congratulations on the baby, and same thing up here too. I mean, it's going to be about 100 today, and feel it's we're hotter than you up here. I think we're going to be feeling like 117 or something crazy like that. It was like that yesterday.
Saw that. It was crazy because I was like, wait a minute, the Northeast getting hit with a heat wave and
Yeah,
it's hotter than the South. But then
hotter than the
again,
South. That's the truth right now,
but
guys.
yes, but then again, what's funny is that North Carolina got like their first snow in a while, and the people were like losing their minds. I remember flying down in January, and they're like, yeah, like we got snow down here, and we're losing our minds. Like I don't know what's going on. I'm like, oh boy. So I'm glad you at least got a little bit of sunshine up there because I know we're
Yeah.
dealing with the cold this year.
Yep. And now let's talk about some of these great wrestling promotions that you've been wrestling for. So the first one that I want to talk about is I got to see you a couple months ago at ACW Wrestling. So tell us a little bit about ACW and about your match because you were in a four-way match up there. So tell us about that promotion and the match.
Yes, ACW is it's legit, and I can't emphasize this enough. Awesome. I so Vic Hale and Hale Collins, they're great people. They're the ones that hit me up, and they were like, "Hey, we have the show coming up. We'd love for you to be a part of it." And I didn't know what was going on because if it's a new promotion, you kind of like do your own research on like who's on the card or you're doing this. And I love those guys. They're great people, great humans, great wrestlers. And I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Then I see the card being blown up, and you have Matt Riddle, Nick Namath. There's so many big time wrestlers, and I got the chance to share the ring in It's a 6-man tag, and I got to team with Danny Doring and Dante Casanova against FBI, which was pretty cool. And so doing that show in May, he was like, "Yeah, like we're gonna put you in this fatal 4-way for the national championship, and it's Big Ben Bishop, great guy. Dante, great wrestler. And then Enzo, obviously, we don't have to say much about him. We know who he is. And it was such an awesome experience. And it's not even just that, but wrestling in that historic building that again, old school wrestlers have been there, like Macho Man, Andre the Giant. You have ECW that's been there, and you have Raw that sometimes would do like live shows there, house shows there. So it's a big historic building, and it's a great venue for wrestlers to like try to achieve to be on. It's kind of like wrestling at Madison Square Garden, or like wrestling in these different historic ballrooms, etc. So this is a really awesome event, and again, they're keep going. I'm not on this one, unfortunately, but I know that they're going to have a great turnout. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome. That was my first time back in Poughkeepsie in so long, since maybe 20 years. Since since I was up at college up there in that area. So I haven't been there in a long time. So to see the venue and to see so many great wrestlers I haven't seen wrestle before too. Like I definitely encourage people to go to indie events if they haven't seen, because you get to see these wrestlers that you don't normally maybe see anywhere else. I mean, like I got to see Limo, who was just on this show, wrestle for the first time. Zach Clayton, who many people know him from Jersey Shore and AEW as well. I got to see him live. I got to see the Now. I got to see Keith Youngblood again. So many people who was also obviously on the show as well in the past. So many great people you guys can definitely see from these events.
Yeah, and even with that too, because again, like there's so many good talents, and and going back to what you're saying, like you never know who's going to be on TV, and so that's why it's always good to support your local indie wrestler, where you may see them one day. Like one of my best friends, Sean Legacy, I'm actually wrestling him next month, and so I've seen him, and again, he was on the grind where like not a lot of people were talking about him, and now he's a WWE ID guy, and now he's building himself up to like he's going to so many different places, and so it's just a matter of time before you have that one person you're like, oh, I'm a big fan of this guy, where have I seen him before? Oh, he was down the street when he was wrestling at this local indie show. So it's definitely good to go out and support your local indie scene.
Yeah. And definitely I know people come up to you all the time and tell you how they see you on this show. So how does that feel?
Oh, it feels great, superstar
Yes.
status.
Yeah. Now,
Yes,
another
no.
place, now I'm sure where they probably have seen you on the show is over in Germany. So you went over to Germany and did a big tour. So tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. That was probably, and I'm going to tie Sean back into this as well as Ryan Clancy. I don't know where to begin. I think it was just like one day. I think it was like me and Sean were talking, and I think this was during an event last year. It was somewhere, I believe it was at Chaotic, and he was talking to someone about going on this trip to Germany. He's like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to WXW." And then I was like, oh, like I would love to come back over there, do like a week tour, because this was, and I think this was like around the time that I found out that my wife was pregnant, or was about to be, or I guess like I was about to announce to me that she was pregnant. So like I had some good buffer time to kind of like do what I can before I have to go back to limiting the shows, which obviously I'm going to the ones that's taking care of me and stuff like that. But yeah, I was like, yeah, like I'd love to go over there for like 9 days, 10 days if possible. And then I was talking to Ryan Clancy about it, and we made this into this big deal where Sean already had an Airbnb. We all split three ways, and then just being able to go over there and just experience it. And it wasn't even just the wrestling that I was a fan of; it was more so just the adventures, because we are always like, oh, like I want to go here, I want to go there. But in a sense, it was just like in moments. Like we were in the house one day and we're just like, you know what? Like we don't really have anything to do. Like, what should we do within the next couple of days? And we're like, let's just drive to Switzerland. And one of our friends, Callie, she was like, hey, like I got a rental car. Let's just drive 6 or 7 hours to Switzerland. And we got to go there when it was snowing for their first time. And we got to go to Zurich, and we got to see so many different historic sites. We got to just see the outland of just like how Switzerland is. We got to see a lot of parts of Germany, like East Germany. And it was such an amazing experience. And for me, like I'm a Christian guy, so like going to different churches, there's like we got to go to like the Cologne Cathedral, and just going to like I'm trying to remember. It was like somewhere in the Black Forest. It was like Freiburg, I believe, and there was like a nice church there. And then I went to a church in Hamburg, and like those moments, like I would sit there, and then I was just like reflect in silence, just like how far I've gotten in wrestling. and just being there in Germany, wrestling for WXW and wrestling in front of like, I think in Hamburg, it was like over 800 people. And that's their biggest sellout outside of a tournament event, which they usually hold in a place called Oberhausen. They hold like 1,000 people. They had to expand the room because there was so many people. So I'm just very thankful. But yeah, WXW is a place that everyone should go to. It's amazing. I can't wait to go back.
Yep. And then you're also going to go back home to Kentucky, your original home, correct? So tell us about that.
That was crazy in itself. Yeah, I don't know where it came up. I think I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was like, "Yeah, like I'm booked on this show for next year." And I was like, "Oh, like, do you know what it's called?" And he said Kentucky Championship Wrestling. And as I was looking at the poster and I was looking at where it was at, I was like, Virgie, Kentucky, and I'm from Pikeville, Kentucky, so. I say Pikeville because it's the closest that people would understand where it's at. So if someone's like, they're from like a small part of New Jersey, but it's close to New York City, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm right outside of New York City," to kind of like get the geography a little bit. So it's east right before you get to Virginia. That's how far east Kentucky, like that's where I'm from, is that east part of Kentucky. And I saw Virgie, and it's like 15, 20 minutes from where I was from. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so I reached out to the promoter. He said this was a newer promotion, and then we got to talking. And yeah, I'll be there August 9th. A lot of my family and friends will be there too, and also they get to finally meet my little girl, which that's also another reason why they're coming down. So she's the star of the show, not me. But we're but we're killing two birds with one stone, and it's also my mom's birthday weekend, so
Yeah.
technically three birds with one stone.
And now, what about down in North Carolina? Where are you wrestling down there? And also, are you going to come back up to the Northeast as well?
Yes. So, first part, yes. North Carolina. I just wrestled and debuted for Apple City Championship Wrestling. Great promotion to check out. I think they've got something good going on there. That's I wrestled. I wrestled a very talented Alexander Moss. That's someone that you should look up to. He's very underrated, and I don't think he's getting the flowers that he deserves. Great wrestler, just very aggressive, and I'm actually going to be coming back in August to ACCW, which is going to be great. I just got announced literally right before we got on the call. I just got announced for PWF, for Premier Wrestling Federation, for I believe it's Newport, North Carolina, which is probably about like less than 2 hours from where I'm at, like around like that coastline. And I'm wrestling Jada Stone, which she just got announced for, or she just got signed to a contract for TNA. So TNA stands for Total Nonstop Adjustments. So I'm glad that we get to share the ring. I think that'll be a good experience. I'm going to be debuting for Firestar Pro Wrestling July 18th. And then I'm going to be wrestling for NCWA, which stands for North Carolina Wrestling Association. And that will be July 19th. I believe that is it for North Carolina that I know of, but you best believe that I will be back up in the Northeast. I'm hoping to be back at Awesome Championship Wrestling when they have their following event, and I'm hoping to be back up there for Blood, Sweat, Tears. And I know that originally I was supposed to be on the one in June for this month, and unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, it was hard for me to get up there. But I believe that I will be back up there sooner than you would expect. So yes, you will be seeing more of me. I promise you that.
Yep. Now, you mentioned that you're going to be wrestling Jada Stone. So, is that your first intergender match that you're going to be doing? And how are you going to be approaching that match?
So so I will say it is not my first. It is not my first match with. Or first intergender match. I technically did so Chaotic runs like these the live shows where it streams on Twitch, but they also run house shows where it's more so like a fundraiser, or if it's just a small event that they pay for. And I've actually had the chance to wrestle Paris Vandell, and I've wrestled her twice in an intergender match, and it's not aired anywhere, so it's just our thing. And also, shout out to her because she's actually going through something that I went through, which was scaphoid injury, and she just announced that yesterday. So praying that she gets at 100% and gets back soon. But I mean, like with Jada, I know that she's a high flyer. She's been to so many different places. But yeah, as a chiropractor and also just me built the way that I am, I do have some size on her. So I've definitely got to utilize some more back strategies. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that we get that spine in check.
So tell me how has social media played a role in your bookings?
So it's been good. It's a curse and a blessing sometimes, and I'm sure you've had to deal with multiple people like reaching out to them, like asking to come on the show, and I'm sure that you've been left on red sometimes, and you're just kind of like, oh man, here we go. And then that's the same thing with me too. Like I think we all as wrestlers get through those moments, but I've learned and this is a quote that I saw and I've lived by, is do not or go where you're accepted, not where you're tolerated. And there's some places where it's like I've reached out multiple times, or like I would just post my graphics just to see if anyone's interested. And if no one's interested, that's totally fine. Like I could still go out and to reach out to these people that have given me chances, or promotions that's given me chances, and just to help like showcase what I can do and be like, hey, you've trusted me since the beginning. Let's see if we can build momentum off of this. And so it's a curse and a blessing because you get the good and the evil from it. But I try to see more of the good than anything, because nowadays social media, it could be rampant with negativity, and you just have to stay the course and just grind in silence is what I say. So
Yep. And what would you say has been the biggest challenge that you've seen over the past year for indie wrestlers?
the biggest challenge I think for me is just mostly getting their name out there, and not it's like it's kind of hard because it's like a majority. It's not like when I say this, it's specifying people, but I think the hardest thing is just like going out there and venturing outside of your comfort zone. When we tend to be complacent, and when we tend to think that it's easy, that's when people start to notice, oh, this is fine, I could do this. If it's something that you'd want to do and you want to stay in your area and wrestle, that's totally fine. But if you want to be able to grow as a wrestler, you have to get in the car. You have to make the drives. You have to do the work. You have to put in. You have to reap what you sow. And that's one of those things where, like Ryan Clancy and I, we've had a time where I would wrestle for Wrestling Open on the Thursday. We drove 18 hours to Georgia, wrestled that next day on Friday, and with like barely minimal sleep in the car, slept and wrestled at TWE on Saturday, then drove through the night to wrestle on Sunday at Beyond. So it's all about getting out of your comfort zone, traveling, and getting your name out there rather than hoping that something happens on social media. And that goes back to that kind of intertwines that back to the last question. It's still good to go out there and post like, hey, I'm available this date, this date, this date. But it's also good to actually physically get in the car, go to the show, and be like, hey, what can I do? Hey, can I help out? Hey, XYZ. So that's kind of like the takeaways that I've noticed. But people need to get out of their comfort zone in order to grow.
Is there anything that you're doing now as opposed to a couple of years from now to mentally prepare for a match? Anything differently that you've learned to do?
So, and that's a good question, because for me, and this is something I've talked to a few of my friends about that are wrestlers, colleagues. I would train all the time at New England Pro Wrestling Academy because I was close to that area, and I was able to, drive 30 minutes, work out. I had access 24/7. And now I'm in an area where I don't really have access to a wrestling ring. So my cardio is different than, because you'll hear people all the time say, in ring cardio is different than regular cardio. And that is the God's honest truth. It's different. I don't know what it is, but I guess it's also a mix of adrenaline in there as well. I'm making sure that I'm staying in shape. I'm going to the gym constantly, and it's now my schedule has changed to where I'm getting up at like 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning to work out, just because we're putting our little girl to bed at such a late time. And then for me, I'm up and I'm usually out the door by like probably 7 o'clock Tuesday through Friday. And on Mondays, I'm usually up earlier than that. And so it's tough on my schedule to like get workouts in. So you have to make time for something that you love. I love staying in shape, and regardless in or out of wrestling, and that's going to help me stay motivated to continue to compete in the ring as well. So it's a grind, but again, if you make time for something you love to do, then it's going to be effortless.
And how do you balance doing your chiropractic work, your wrestling work, the baby? And how is the baby? Is the baby a crier, or is she very well behaved that she doesn't cry at all? Because some babies cry a lot when they're first born, some don't.
Oh, I'll say this. I'll say the second part first. She is a crier, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be, which is great. She is a sweetheart and a half, and she's a big baby too. I think like she was born on 3/16, so she was born on Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, and so that's a can I get a hell yeah? Like that's so she's a natural born wrestler. My wife gets pissed off when I say that, but anyway, but no, she's great. There's some moments when she cries, but like we sense her cries and like what those cues are. So like if we know she's tired, we know that kind of cry. If she's hungry, we know that kind of cry. But overall, she's just a really happy baby. And then to go back to the first question, it's an easy balance, but it also can take a toll on you. But I learned to manage with it. So like again, usually Tuesday through Friday, I'm usually up at like 4 in the morning, and now I'm getting a gym for the garage, so it's going to be a lot easier. But I'm getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I do my workout. I get ready for the day. I start my commute at like 7:10, and I'm usually in the office depending on what day it is around 7:40, maybe 8:30. Today's usually 8:30 because it's a Wednesday. We have like team meetings and stuff like that. But I'm in the office usually from 8 a.m. till 12. I only get an hour and 40 minutes of lunch, and then I adjust from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. I get back home at usually around 6:30, 6:40, and then I spend time with the wife while she's cooking, and I spend time with the little girl, and then just managing that. And then this goes back to wrestling. I've done my fair share of like hitting the road like so many times out of the weekends, and there may be times that I'll have to do that again, which I'm totally not opposed to it. But I'm also balancing the family life, and I want to be there for not just my little girl, but also our future kids, and for like being there for events. So that's why I'm doing it's more of like quality over quantity. You can still get where you want to go with just quality amount of matches. It may take a little bit longer, but I'd rather do that and not sacrifice time for my family, if that makes sense.
Yep. And I just want to let you know, and I know some viewers heard this because I know this is what they're going to focus on. I only get an hour and 40 minutes for lunch.
Yes.
Landon,
Yeah.
an hour and 40 minutes. That's a long lunch break.
It is, but I'm also adjusting from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I'm adjusting for 4 hours straight,
Yeah.
and also seeing reports, reading X-rays, adjusting people from 100 to 500 pounds. I mean, I don't know if I can go that far with 500 pounds, but you get the gist. Like I'm constantly on my feet, going all day. But the commute to home is like usually 30 minutes. So theoretically I'm only getting like maybe an hour of lunch, or maybe like 45 minutes of lunch, and then I have to drive another 30 minutes back. But I mean
You're
we
going
tend to make
home
it
on
work.
your lunch, so that's okay. It's not
Yeah.
you're actually sitting and eating for an hour and 40 minutes,
No, no,
ladies
no,
and
no,
gentlemen.
no. No, no, never. No,
It's just a little schedule adjustment there to help
yes,
you out, right?
yes. My last
Okay.
my last job, I technically had 2 hours for lunch, but I would spend that time to go work out, and then I would eat lunch for like not even 10 minutes, and then I'm good to go. So yeah, I definitely had to make some adjustments, pun intended, to my schedule, and now all is good. So I mean, the sleep, we're actually getting some really good sleep throughout the night too, which is nice. So yeah, we're managing, but yeah, I love it though. It's the best feeling in the world.
How has your character evolved since last time you were on this show?
Character involvement. I'm trying to. So I'm still the good doctor. It's I'm trying to be as real as I can with people. I adjust spines by day. I adjust spines by night. I know the body very well. I wrestle any style. I'm mostly emphasizing on high flying, but I can wrestle any style needed. Just the same way that I can adjust the spine any way needed. I definitely think there's going to be some more growth, and I'm still trying to search myself. But at the same time, I think it's still about the same. But now I'm just hitting different locations, and again, since we last talked, I've been to Germany. I've also been to Thailand. I don't know if we talked about that. And so there's just a lot of different growth aspects of my life that I'm focusing on, and then maybe later on, the good doctor may change to something else. Who knows?
Now, who are you looking forward to wrestling this upcoming year?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people. I know that there's one guy you talked to about Bishop Dyer, so I'm hoping that there's a chance there. I mean, you never say never in pro wrestling. I know that I'm wrestling Sean Legacy later on in July, so that's going to be a fun contest. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anybody. I don't really have like anybody as a list of like people that I would like to wrestle. There's like a few here and there. I know I want to wrestle Sydney Akeem. Sydney Akeem has been on the Blood, Sweat, Tears roster lately, and I think I have my eye on him. So if he stays around, he's got to watch his back. So that's definitely going to be a test for me because I know he's highly athletic and just with his run with the WWE, he's showing his run with like GCW and like a lot of other places on the indies. And so I think that would be a good match of the year candidate for sure if we were to step in the ring. But yeah, anybody that steps in my way, I'm ready for it.
Now, when a promotion books Landon Hale, what are they getting?
They are getting a chiropractor. They're getting the chiropractic wrestler. They are getting someone who is willing to take care of people in the back if needed. Uh, then I'm joking. I'm only licensed in North Carolina, so I can't do that. But no, they're getting a very genuine guy who understands the business. He was trained by Robert Gibson, someone who's again a legend that's got so many years under his belt and just picking at his brain for so long. And we actually talked on the phone not even a few days ago and just kind of like explaining wrestling and understanding how it is to present yourself when it comes to that. So yeah, like if you're booking the Good Doctor, you're going to get one of the best matches that you will have of the show, of the night, and possibly of the year. Because I throw in 110% of what I do into that ring. It's all blood, sweat, tears, pun intended.
Yeah. And now, one thing that helps prepare you for the unexpected is the lightning round.
Oh man,
We're
I
gonna
forgot
put
about this.
Landon
Let's
through this
go.
again. I'm gonna ask you a couple things. You tell me which one you prefer.
Let's go.
Video games or games on your phone?
Games on my phone. It used to be video games, but I don't really have video game systems, so games on my phone now.
Are you a hoarder or do you throw everything out?
I I throw everything out if it's necessary. I will keep it if I need it for the future. So, but yeah, I would say throw away.
On a hot day like today, what's better, ice cream or a glass of lemonade?
Oh, ice cream, 1,000%. I'm an ice cream fiend.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
You're putting me on the spot, dude. I'm a sucker. It's either a tie between cookies and cream or salted caramel.
Yep. Better button on the remote control, rewind or fast forward?
Wait, a what on the wait? What was
Better button on the remote control to rewind or fast forward?
a better but? Oh, that's a good one. Jeez, that should be a life question. What would you rather do, reverse or go back in time, or say, rewind in case I miss
Always
something?
late or always late or always early?
Always early.
Secret code or QR code?
Secret code.
What's worse? Can't stop sneezing or can't stop having hiccups?
What's worse? I'd probably say I'll probably say sneezing.
What's worse, having a pet that's hyper or one that sleeps all the time?
I'd say I'd say hyper.
Are you neat or messy?
Uh, I'm like in the middle, but if you had to pick one, probably more on the messy side.
Which do you lose more, your keys or your phone?
Probably my keys.
What's scarier, zombies or vampires?
Z- Vampires. Oh, I had to think about it a little bit. It's vampires.
And finally, would you rather be in a gauntlet match or a battle royal?
I'm only saying this because I like to test myself, and I actually did this with ETU, Expect the Unexpected, and I was the longest lasting person in it. I lasted with like four people. Gauntlet.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, Mike. It's been awesome.
Can you tell everybody how they can keep up with you on social media?
Of course. So you can watch a lot of my videos on YouTube. There's a lot of content that you can watch, like full time matches. You can also watch on IWTV as well. You can subscribe to that. You can follow me on Facebook. I do have a friend page and a page. Please, for the love of all that is good, follow and like the fan page, not my personal life. Please, thank you. And then you have My Instagram is Landon Hale 3, and then my Twitter is at Hale Yeah 3 because I love puns. I am a punny person. But yes, Hale Yeah 3 on Twitter, and then you can support me with merch at all the shows. I do have shirts and merchandise that you can buy. But if you want a shirt, especially the new Watch Your Back shirt that I'm selling, you can get it from prowrestlingtees.com/Landon Hale. That's it.
Okay, awesome. I say the same thing. Follow me on my Facebook fan page, not my because I have the same thing as
Yes, of
well.
course.
It's too much. I can't follow all these people. It drives me insane seeing like in my feed. I need,
Crazy, right?
So follow me, official Mike Grand on Instagram at official Mike Grand. On X, I am Mike Grand.com, like the website MikeGrand.com. And then of course on YouTube, I am at official Mike Grand or slash the Mike Grand, youtube.com/slash the Mike Grand. And you can also keep up with me on Apple Podcasts. Again, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and we will talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.